I just want to... Good morning everyone. We are lucky here. We're having wild dogs everywhere in the area, which are really hunting at the moment. One dog, it just went straight direct where we are, but we're trying to relocate. I believe they're not far from the point, because it could be the same dog that have a youngster in the area. We haven't calculated how many are they, but are moving so fast. Let me try to get ahead of us here in the open, then I can come back. There's a lonely impala in the open here, which is more like lying down. Let's check out here. I believe they're gonna be soon in the area where we are. Let's wait here. They will be coming direct in this area, more or less. But really, while we're still waiting for this dog, we switch off the engine. Maybe we might be lucky to hear them calling or see them running, chasing anything in the area. There's such a huge pack. Definitely they might have pups. That's the reason they're so much active. They're so fast. I would like to really advise everyone, or remember, to remind everyone to register on WildEarth website and pop into wildearth.tv/questions. If you have question, you can really send your question through to the website itself, and your question and comment will be read. I can hear them. They're still coming this way. And your stories, you are welcome to send any story that it will be shared with us out right here. Otherwise, you can... Troy, excellent. It is excellent. We are waiting in the right position here. I believe these dogs will come out here. Otherwise, we have to go back the same area and try to trace this dog. Maybe they might be, but I can hear the Francolin calling. Otherwise, you can really scan to QR code, and you can really screen. It will lead you to, and look at your screen, it will lead you to questions and comment. Then we'll be able to read your questions through here. It really makes me a little bit nervous with this wild dog. I don't want to lose them, because I can see they're everywhere here. I'd like to relocate them. If not, we have realized that they were running straight direct, maybe northeast. If not, there was one impala. Sandy Patch North is the area where we find the wild dogs. But they're highly mobile. All of them, they're everywhere here. So let's take a look to the point. I can see the impala here is facing backwards. Yes, the impala. The dogs might be in the area. See how the impala ran. The dogs are back in that same look. Oh, here's the dogs. Lucky. We found one. We just spotted one now. It's really amazing how far they can travel. And I can turn back quickly into the same location where we saw them. I would like to really stand by here. It's still a little bit dark, but you can see the dog from the distance. We'll zoom in. Here's the dog. Yes! Oh, we are really lucky. They were so fast, looked like they were chasing something towards the direction where we were going, and I will manage to relocate. I believe these are dogs. Maybe there are 3, 4 that are in the area, but we have seen some of them to the west in a thicket. They're just waiting for other dog to flash, maybe impala coming towards that direction. And we had a report yesterday. It's not the same wild dogs that you guys have yesterday at Chichokatlan. This is the dogs that were reported somewhere north around Jokana. Look like they're having youngsters. They have puppies at the moment, which is such amazing. This time of the year, wild dog having little ones. But it can happen. There's 2 here, as we calculated. Let's try to go with them. We might be in an area sometimes where they're going. Signal, it can be a little bit difficult, but we'll try our best to stay with the dogs. It's a difficult area, of course, you can see. And the dogs, while they're coming here, this area was really...
And coming up in first place and officially named Mbilo is Heart's Cub.
It's a high season for them to hunt, especially having puppies. It's a high demand. The puppies have to feed, nest, and eat at the same time for them to grow very fast. The more they have meat, they will be healthy, growing very fast and add weight, and able to be so strong and move around in the area. It's such amazing. 2 different pack that reported not far from one another. It's just amazing to see them. The population, it looks like is going well. And of course, because of our lions are moving away from the area, they tend to be really guarantee for wild dogs to survive around in the area. Population, it will be so easy to really grow around in the area. It's such amazing how we find out about these dogs. We're just from DRC coming off. I can see the tracks on the ground. It was so fresh. Then I have to rush and track them. We're really fast. These wild dogs were moving fast. From there to the point where we find them, I believe we were driving so fast because we know that there might be crossover into the other properties where you can hear calling. One dog calling at Sandy Patch. So all of them, they're going to go back that direction because the dogs are now relocating one another. From here, it's Sandy Patch. Let me go back to that area where we find them. They look like the rest of the pack will able to calculate how many are they if we get to that point. They're not responding, they're just heading on that direction, being quiet. It's so important because it can be anything in between the 2 packs separated, and they will manage to hunt and able to be successful. If all call at the same time, that might cause all the impala to run off. Normally this area where they are, it's always full of impala activities, but I understand just because the wild dogs are here, the impala, they're not really having peaceful morning. They have to run away for their own life. Wild dogs are so much successful when it comes to hunting. I love wild dog. Following wild dog is a matter of you have to know what you're doing. Driving, you have to be so fast, otherwise they're easy to run away from. Oh, there's a dog coming there in front, the one that's calling. Look like 3 dogs at the moment. Maybe it's a pack of 3, who knows? Yeah, they're going to really giants, and there will be a lot of playing, greetings. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Wow. They're so fast, eh? Oh, nice. It's in the nature of all species, more especially when it's in the nature at the pack of four. Thank you so much. It's in the nature of wild dogs. When they are separated, they will join together, and there will be a lot of rejoicing one another, or really accepting one another. Of course, there was a female here. Maybe it's the pack that guys have reported yesterday around Jacana with the puppies. Maybe the female is back with the puppies on the den at the moment. Let's see if we can.
The Safari Guide of the Year 2022 is approaching us rapidly. This year, we'll be heading to Bushwise Field Guides at the Southern African Wildlife College from the 27th June till the 2nd of July. We will soon meet all our contestants who are vying for the prize of being the very best of the best, and the judges who will put them through their paces. Join me, Steve Falconbridge, as we dream it, guide it, win it.
If you would like to be a part of the team that shares the Wildebeest Migration in Kenya live on WildEarth, then we have some great news for you. There are a few places left to join our expeditions in August and September this year. You'll be staying in an exclusive tented camp with ensuite bedrooms nestled in the riverine woodlands of the Talek River. Head over to our website to book your bucket list experience today. WildEarth Expeditions. Travel with purpose.
They're heading towards Bedford boundary, which it can be at any minute if they don't find anything around here. I just wish for them to find maybe Steenbok or Giraffes or Impala here in order to be successful on the hunt. Then they're going to be stationary, feeding 3 dogs. Willow, it makes your heart so much joyful in a very chilly day. Yes, of course. I'm so happy I don't feel that much cold because my adrenaline is very high at the moment. I love the way myself and BK decided to follow up the dogs and find them. It is such a very excited mood that I have, but let me try to stick with this dog. And I can see where they're going. Now they're going opposite way. So I have to be so fast in order to keep them. Wow, we still see them. They're not far from us. We will head that direction. But they're going towards Sydney's Dam at the moment. Anyone who is interested, the location of these dogs. Wildebeest. They said chasing wildebeest. BK can see is a little bit high ground. I'm very low. The wildebeest is a little bit more. Oh, let me go here. Let's see if they can be successful. Wildebeest is a little bit big to the pack that we are counting here. 3 dogs. I can see they're highly mobile. They're now on the road that we're supposed to drive on now, heading north. Let's see. Here's the wildebeest. The dogs look like they're running towards Sydney's Dam. Now look at the wildebeest are more concentrating ahead. Yo.
Please join me this coming Sunday evening after the Sunset Safari, that's the 26th of June, where I'm going to be doing a town hall to tell you all about the latest locations that are being added on to WildEarth, as well as answer your questions. Just go to wildearth.tv, make sure you're registered, and have your questions ready.
there's no tracks here. Let's take this opportunity while we're looking for the dogs over to Chris.
We are due east of where we saw the lions yesterday, and our plan is initially to try and see if there are any tracks of those 3 lions coming this way. We're going to circle around the area and hopefully we'll get some more success on those lions. We had such a brief visual on them yesterday. In the meantime, just soak up yet another awesome Pridelands sunrise. It's almost like a replay almost every day, eh? Welcome everybody, my name is Chris. With me on CamOps today is Mpo. And like I mentioned, our plan today is to find those lions. But first, we're going to have to experience this sunrise. Hi there, Jackson. Jackson says, stunning sunrise and possible lions. What a start. Jackson, I'm really hoping we'll find those cats again. If not, you know, we'll have another. Excuse me. I must say, it's not as cold this morning. I was pleasantly surprised, expecting another cracker, icy morning, and this sort of like just an average winter morning. I mean, it's cold, but it's livable. I think we'll have a very nice, mild, sunny day, which I think is going to be good for animal movement, especially as soon as the sun is sort of like halfway up and everything warms up. Well, what a start we had this morning. My old big friend Rexon and Tamani opening up with some dogs. Well, yeah, all right, so we're gonna get to work, see if we can find any tracks of this cats. In the meantime, let's go over to Moshatu in Botswana, where Ralph's about to say good morning.
Well, thanks, Chris, and yes, welcome back to the Moshatu Game Reserve. And we have been sitting watching this morning on the remote dam cam all the way up in Botswana. My name is Ralph Kirsten, and we've just been watching a couple of impala having a little sip this morning. And up here in the reserve, it's about 15 degrees with a slight easterly breeze, and so a lovely winter's morning in Botswana. Now, the birds have all started calling, as they would usually in the morning as such, on the morning chorus. I'm just going to zoom out a little bit with those impala having walked off. Oh, hello. There's an eland that's just appeared off to the right. Wow, that's a surprise. Let's see if we can get a little bit closer to him. I'm just going to pan off to the right, and then we'll have a check if we can zoom in on him. Lovely to see an eland there. Now, eland obviously are water independent, but if they... Oopsie. Let's go back again. The control... gone past him. Sorry about that. Let's see if we can just go back. So, as I say, eland being water independent, so they don't need to drink water, but obviously if there is water around, they will. So they are one of the truly desert-adapted animals. Let's see once again. I'll try and go a little bit closer. The water is once again just like a mirror, so we might get a lovely reflection. There we go. That's a lot better. There we are. An impala walking in the background. Lovely picture that. So yes, eland, one of the animals that you'd also see up in Namibia in the desert areas. But this part of the Botswana is semi-arid as well. Very, very little rainfall. In fact, in general, probably between 300 and 350 millimeters each year. So very, very little. And as you can see from the sort of surface area of the soil, very dry. And in this particular area, well trampled by animals coming down to drink. This looks like it's probably a lone bull. Camilla, you say starting the morning with a muscular cow? Yes, absolutely. I couldn't get close enough to see there actually the detail on this animal, but generally when they are alone, it's normally a bull, but that's not to say that it could not be a female as well. I couldn't see there enough detail. And a lot of the red-billed quailias flying past.
WildEarth have really inspired me to return to South Africa after having followed so many beautiful characters. This Ticket to Dream has given me a great opportunity to meet the WildEarth team, which I thank. They're all amazing. I love all of the characters, but I do have a particular passion for leopards. It's a dream, and as I said before, I just keep on pinching myself. Am I really here?
The iconic Masai Mara in Kenya is a boundless wilderness bursting with life. Every year, more than 1 million animals stream onto the plains, and this year, WildEarth will be there for Africa's great Wildebeest Migration. This astonishing spectacle will feature in Safari Live twice a day, allowing you to travel instantaneously to this natural wonderland. Join us in August for some migration madness.
I'm just going to zoom off again to the left. It seems these two areas, the one to right onto the left of your screen and also to the right, on the two sides now. This seems to be the most visited areas where the animals come to drink. Where that pile of rocks is, I think there is a bit of a fresh water input there. And so I'm going to continue sitting here and hoping for some surprises. There has been some hyenas calling earlier, and I'm hoping they come down for a drink. Now, while I wait for those crocata to come down, I'm going to send you off to Liam. Morning, Liam.
My goodness, what a brilliant start to our day. Out on safari with WildEarth TV, eland and wild dogs, and so much more. So, good morning once again. My name is Liam Burrow. I'm the naturalist in the driver's seat here on Wendy. The man behind the lens, the one responsible for all of the actual magic, is the legendary Johan Reinecker. We are out at the moment in the furthest sort of eastern area of the Djuma concession around Cheetah Cutline, in the hopes of coming across any sign of the Tlalamba female returning home after her successful kill next door in the Torchwood property yesterday. However, no such luck yet. I believe she's still feeding on a bit of meat there, but I have no doubt in my mind she will finish that carcass today and she will come home. Yeah. An extremely exciting start to our day, though, with that pack of wild dogs and the eland, which I think is one of my all-time favorite antelope. Very, very cool indeed. So I'd love to just remind you once again about a little bit of a change of WildEarth procedure, and that procedure is the one with regards to how we accept questions now. Questions, comments, stories from you guys at home. So please keep those questions, comments, etc. all coming. We love to keep these shows as interactive as possible. We are trying to streamline things to get everybody submitting questions in the same place. So what we're asking you guys at home to do is to head to the WildEarth website, wildearth.tv/questions. So wildearth.tv/questions. Head to the website, register, get yourself to the questions section, and keep those questions coming for us. We will also try and make it as easy as possible, so at a few occasions through the program, a QR code, that funny square-looking spotty barcode, will pop up on your screen. If you do have a smartphone, please just open the camera app, frame up on that barcode, that QR code, and it will present a bit of a link for you to skip a few steps. So yeah, but please do that. We value your questions enormously. The human factor is what makes this experience so cool. We love chatting to people, hearing what you want to know, and answering all of your questions. Alrighty, from here, I think Johan and myself are going to continue on in search of a bit of excitement.
Here on WildEarth, we love it when you interact with our guides while they are live. In order to do this, you must head over to wildearth.tv/questions and submit your questions, comments, and suggestions. Simple as that. And to make it even simpler, from time to time, you will see a QR code on your screen. Open your camera phone and scan this code, and it will take you straight to where you need to be. We look forward to answering your questions on this channel. The Masai Mara in Kenya, a remote landscape where wilderness reigns. Its inspirational beauty captivates the hearts of many around the world. This year, from August, WildEarth is leading a number of unique expeditions to follow Africa's greatest wildebeest migration here in the Masai Mara. And now, the remaining places have been discounted by 20%. Head over to our website to find out.
So seriously nippy conditions this morning. I think we might even be as low as 10 or 12 degrees Celsius in certain parts of the concession. Everybody at home in Europe is laughing themselves silly. That's not very cold by your standards. But for us, that's nippy. I think now let's check in with Rex, who is hopefully still on the trail of his wild dogs.
Welcome back from Liam hunting Kalamba. We're right here where the wild dogs went, but they are between the Impala and the band section. We came to the cut line here. We can see the Impala are very much concerned. We'll take an opportunity to stand by here, but look like they were looking directly to the west, which means they can hear these wild dogs, or they've seen the wild dog. Pretty much is angle in this direction. The Impala right here, if the wild duck have came into this area, it would mean these Impala, all of them, they will be not in the direction. I think maybe they spotted the wild dog or heard the wild dog calling, because they were calling earlier on. They might be still, maybe decided to lie down or continuously heading to the west. But you can see, if you look at this Impala here, 1, 2, 3, all of them, they're looking fairly towards the west, which that is the final direction that we'll take and try to relocate these wild dog, who were really after them. Behind these a big tree, they look like they were cutting straight direct in the angle where we are. But I hope there might be by now triple M on that location. Let's carry on. Our breeze coming in the same direction. You haven't seen them. It means they might be still in this block here. So we might be lucky to find them. We might be not. We'll be really looking. If we're patient enough, we might hear them calling. But especially from Sydney's dam, it's a little bit more open. And let's take this opportunity over to Lauren in Eastern Cape.
Like was pretty close to the road, which means for filming, that's what you want, you know. You don't want to film something and be like, about it.
It's all bad headphones.
Bad headphones. Yeah.
Welcome back from Lauren. We are now back in the area where we lost this wild dog. They were around these wildebeest. I don't think they've jumped this far break. They might be still around. They will be concentrating in the area and look at the behavior of the wildebeest. They are not really showing any threat about the wild dogs. They are now settled. So let's take a look here and stop. Maybe we might. A little bit difficult to see this wild dog. I mean, with wildebeest that are behind the thick habitat. And let us take this opportunity over to Ralph in Botswana.
Yes, so everybody, I've just switched over from the Mashatu dam cam over to the Juma dam cam, and surprise, surprise, looks like the hippos have returned for a little wallow in the pond. Now, I hear that I think the male here is called Dewey, and you can let me know if I'm correct or not. I only remember Scuba Steve, who was up in the Buffelshoek Dam, but these are new characters to me, so I'm just enjoying getting to know these guys for now. Looks like they're all enjoying a bit of a snooze. Lovely. Seems like there's a youngster, and apparently there's also been a little bit of mating going on between Dewey and one of the females, I believe. I didn't actually see it myself, but I know that it's been happening, so that's quite a special occasion, especially with hippos, not often seen.
We want to make it even easier for you to interact with our guides whilst watching WildEarth. When you see a QR code like this pop up on your screen, then open your phone camera, point it at the code, and you will be taken directly to our question page. Simple as that. Then you can let us know what you want to see, ask questions, and much more.
I've had it before where I've been walking and a waterbuck's jumped out of the grass. It's quite a frightening experience.
WildEarth, it's in your nature.
And so, yeah, there's always a lot of movement around hippos. And I've also seen a lot of terrapins hitching a ride on the back of hippos too, or just using them as a rock per se. As you can see, it is a bit of a floating rock. So I'm pretty sure that these guys have been out all night. Well, guys, girls, I think there's one guy and a couple of girls. They've been out all night and now having come back to the pond to rest up for the day. And I'm sure they're going to have a lovely rest after the evening's endeavours. Right, while these guys rest up, I'm going to send you all the way down to the Eastern Cape and say hello to Lauren.
And a very, very, very chilly welcome to Amakala Game Reserve in the Eastern Cape. We're coming to you live from a different area once again, and I can assure you it is nothing short of freezing. Whether it is technically freezing, I am probably a little bit doubtful. However, it is very cold, and I didn't want to get out of my bed this morning, but I knew I had to, so I've decided to bring the bed to the car, and I've wrapped myself in a deliciously warm blanket, which is wonderful. My name is Lauren, and I do have a Davy on camera once again. There is his thumb. And we don't really have a plan for this morning, to be honest. We are just going to bumble. We're on the other side again. Amakala is split into 3 different parts, and I guess maybe we do have a plan. Maybe we are hoping to see the cheetah after all. Yesterday was just our first day here, so sort of our first day getting involved in the area, trying to see what we can find, and I think we did pretty well. I think we managed to show you lots of different species. But the sun comes up a little bit later here, and as I mentioned yesterday, we don't have infrared. So when it's dark, we're not really able to go live, I'm afraid. So that's that sun popped his head up, which is absolutely delightful. And we're going to be on our way. We do have more eland over there, Dov, but I'm not sure if it's possible. Can you get them? They are far. They are cute, so I'm finding them more and more endearing, to be honest, after being a little bit mean about them yesterday. They are definitely endearing. Rolling Trouble. You were saying nice shot of the moon, Davy.
Why, thank you.
He says, why, thank you, in his very deep voice. I didn't see it because I don't have a monitor, but I'm sure it was wonderful. Because we're sort of, it's a very, very hilly, mountainous landscape. The sun rises. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. And when you sit and watch it, you don't really notice the amount of ambient light just increasing, and then all of a sudden you blink and, well, it's daylight. And the day has begun. And beginning the day with these cow-like camel creatures is not such a bad thing after all. I'm not even sure I went live with eland and Namara, because they were mostly hanging around near our camp, so I don't think I did. So I'm happy that we can do that here. So I guess maybe it's cheetah we're after all, but we are going to send you over to Liam with his elephants.
Well, best of luck to the team in the Eastern Cape. Some cheetah would be brilliant. We are fairly content on our side here with one of my ultimate experiences out in the bush. I'm spending quality time, peaceful time with a breeding herd of elephants. My idea of the perfect way to start the day, sipping a nice hot coffee from your flask, wrapped up nice and warm, enjoying the first rays of sun with the greatest mammal to walk anywhere on earth. Much of the bird life starting to defrost as well. We're getting the occasional call from the magpie shrikes as these elephant calves follow their mums around collecting grass. Yeah, tranquility in a nutshell, if you ask me.
The Safari Guide of the Year 2022 is approaching us rapidly. This year, we'll be heading to Bushwise Field Guides at the Southern African Wildlife College from the 27th June till the 2nd of July. We will soon meet all our contestants who are vying for the prize of being the very best of the best, and the judges who will put them through their paces. Join me, Steve Falconbridge, as we dream it, guide it, win it.
If you would like to be a part of the team that shares the Wildebeest Migration in Kenya live on WildEarth, then we have some great news for you. There are a few places left to join our expeditions in August and September this year. You'll be staying in an exclusive tented camp with ensuite bedrooms nestled in the riverine woodlands of the Talek River. Head over to our website to book your bucket list experience today. WildEarth Expeditions. Travel with purpose.
So a great look at that magpie shrike. Yeah, a beauty in black. That very, very, very pronounced tail. Terence, I'm so happy to hear you say that. They are the bomb. I love the Ellies. Yeah, an endless source of excitement. I absolutely love them. I can't imagine viewing them anywhere but out in the wild. That's where they belong. Highly, highly sociable, extremely complicated animals, very emotional. They need to live in these open, free systems, able to interact with hundreds of other elephants, dozens of other family groups. There's a social network out here, the fabric of which we know very, very little about, even after decades of studying Ellies out in the wild. There's a strong smell of fresh elephant dung and elephant flatulence in the air this morning. We don't have a lot of wind at all. It's just sort of hanging here. I guess you may say that you've spent a bit too much time in the bush when that smell starts to be something you like. I guess a bit like spending time around horses, you start to enjoy the smell of them. Alexander, no, I wouldn't say I see myself as an Ellie, but I am lucky to be able to work with them, and I think without getting too airy-fairy and sort of fanatical about it. They're extremely perceptive animals, quite perceptive to some degree of the energy that you're giving off. A little bit similar to the fact that if you're getting very stressed out, the dog that lives with your family is probably going to pick up on that, stressed out or angry, or so if you present the right energy to Ellies, gentle, respectful. Keeping your distance when they indicate to you that they want you to stay further away. Letting them approach the car sort of at their own pace rather than pushing into their groups. They're so perceptive. They pick up on these little cues that you're giving off. And I think we reap the rewards with our elephant sightings.
Please join me this coming Sunday evening after the Sunset Safari, that's the 26th of June, where I'm going to be doing a town hall to tell you all about the latest locations that are being added on to WildEarth, as well as answer your questions. Just go to wildearth.tv, make sure you're registered, and have your questions ready.
So our posse of pachyderms seem to be sort of drifting off into this red bush willow thicket a little bit. And we may try and reposition a little there. I'd like to just let them get a little bit further out of that clump of trees before we try to pick a route through. Yeah, they're moving very slowly but fairly steadily westwards away from us. Gradually feeding, socializing. Yeah, that's extremely nice. Yeah, perhaps let's try and reposition, get one more view of them before we leave them in peace. But while Johan and myself do that, I think let's check in with the team in Pridelands and see how the search for those lions is going for Chris.
So we had tracks of those lions. Unfortunately, they've gone directly east. Reynard, one of the guides out here, is still tracking them, and the area where they are is sort of very borderline signal area at the moment, so I'm not going to be involved in that search. Reynard's on the tracks. If you do find them, I will take a look at where they are, and then if it's a possible signal area, we'll go there. But my suspicion is they're going to go east into Boston. They often do that. So what I'm going to do now, we're going to head back to Leopard Dam area. Remember, we still had tracks there yesterday of a single lioness, which we are all convinced could be Lagertha, although we can't really say for sure. So we're heading over there. We're going to walk around there a bit, try and see if there's any tracks, and hopefully that will yield results. There's something here that's alerted these crested francolins. Look at that beautiful bird. Such a common bird, but something's definitely alerted them here.
Here at WildEarth, we promised great monthly prizes for our explorers, and this month is no exception. If you join our club before the 10th of July, then you stand a chance to win a fabulous Safari Guide online course brought to you by Bushwise Field Guides. They specialize in accredited Safari Guide training with courses tailored for the African safari lodge industry. Sign up to be a WildEarth explorer today and don't miss out on this life-changing opportunity.
Hi, I am David. I come to you live from the Mana Triangle, all the way from Kenya.
This is not a postcard. This is real. Sunrise in the beautiful Masai Mara.
Although I don't think a slender mongoose will necessarily go for something like a francolin, it's rather big. Although I have personally seen a slender mongoose attacking some of my chickens on the farm. So, yeah, chicken's much bigger than this. Alright. Well, at least we had a cool sighting on the birds. We're going to continue searching for tracks. Let's go over to Liam, who's still with his elephants.
So we are back with this really special group of pachyderms. We've managed to relocate them. They are, however, moving into very very thick terrain. There's lots of logs, lots of branches as we try and pick our way through. So I think we'll soak up one last glimpse here. They're not in a huge hurry to move away, but when they do, eventually we will leave them on their merry way for the morning. It's easy to overstay your welcome with elephants. And obviously, as we know, these cows make phenomenal moms, and they do occasionally snap. Best to show them lots of respect and leave them still happy with us, so that when we view them next time, they have positive memories around us. Yeah, thankfully the Western world seems to be moving away from keeping elephants in captivity. The days of seeing ellies in circuses seem to be over now, which is brilliant. And they even seem to be slowly but surely being phased out of zoos as well. For an animal that needs to interact with dozens of other individuals for its mental health, as well as covering miles and miles every day in search of food, captive conditions, especially solitary confinement, couldn't be a harsher sentence for an animal that's done nothing wrong. Anyway, I think we may swap over now to fellow naturalist here in the heart of the Sabi Sands, Rex, and see how his search for the wild dogs this morning is going.
Thank you from Liam with the breeding out of elephant. We were lucky to find tracks look like it could be Tavanguma or Totospan. We were not sure. We came all the way down to check here at Zoe's Road, a little bit ahead on the tracks information that you have seen, hoping to find the tracks furthermore towards the south. But it looked like the tracks is still down, very close where we have seen the wild dogs. I'm heading back in the same location. Maybe we might be lucky. If not, we'll start from where we find the tracks of this male leopard and follow up. It looked like early this morning. Sometimes, Totospan like the same routine to go out of the area. But we went further ahead and blocked from the front, and now coming back towards where we are predicting it might be still walking on the block between Sandipitch North and the Gary Gate itself. But we will take Ops Road to check and back from the other side. Maybe, who knows, we might be lucky. And also the wild dogs guarantee they're not yet crossed over the boundary. We have checked the tracks. Maybe behind us, they might be now have crossed into the north. We would like to go and check one of the areas that we know the hyenas used to den in the same block where they disappear. It can be possible that the wild dog, they'll use the same den, of course, because they were reported with the puppies yesterday around Jacana. There's no much activity of a hyena in this area, and also lions' activity is very slim around the area. So dogs, most of the time, would love to utilize the areas where there's no much activities of lions and wild dog. And the same den that hyena used to den. I'm still thinking to go and chance to check on that area. Maybe we might be lucky to find these dogs around. They may be denning at the same point, who knows.
We protect and reconnect nature across southern Africa. We bring countries together to care for wild spaces that stretch beyond borders. We protect and restore biodiversity. We prioritize the people living in these landscapes, enabling them to thrive in harmony with nature. We are restoring tomorrow.
Well, my name is Mark Carantonis, and I'm the co-owner of a travel company called Africa Direct. and I'm from White River in Mpumalanga, and I'm the founder of Safari Guide of the Year. It takes a lot of courage, you know, to put your hand up and say I'm in. To put yourself forward and say I'm here to learn, it's not possible without them.
We are heading towards north now on Ups Road. No yet information of the leopard or wild dogs. Let's take this opportunity over to Chris in Prioland, who is very interested this morning doing bedding.
Look at this very interesting find. Now, they're all sitting there together, obviously to warm up, and soon they're all going to fly off. I'm going to give this one to our viewers. I'm going to ask you to tell me what species of bird this is. That is so pretty. Look at that. That's, I must say, kind of like endearing almost. It's a bird found in southern Africa. Found South Africa, Zimbabwe, Namibia, Mozambique, Botswana, probably southern Zambia, southern Angola. It's what we refer to as a near endemic. So it's not endemic to South Africa alone, but it's endemic to southern Africa. And the key to its ID are the whitish color on top of the head, the crown that is white. Males and females look exactly the same. There's no dimorphism. And they've got a counterpart found in North Africa as well, which also reflect in the name. Right, so they've got a lot of comments coming through. White-crowned shrikes. More specifically, this is the southern white-crowned shrike. You do also find a northern white-crowned shrike that's basically found in sort of northeast Africa. Right into the Horn of Africa. It's also a bird that does cooperative breeding. So members of a group will all together build a big brooding nest, and they'll all take turns sitting on eggs and also assist with the feeding of the chicks. So it's a cooperative breeder. Very pretty sight, very pretty. Well, since this bird also occurs in Botswana, let's head over to Ralph at Moshatu to see if he can potentially show us some Botswana birds.
Well, we've got a whole lot of guinea fowl. This seems to be their morning ritual. They keep on flying in. As I said yesterday, there must have been a couple of hundred of them, and they've started all coming through, coming down for a drink, but there's just so much going on, you almost don't know where to look. And the only reason I'm not zooming in is because there is so much going on that when I do zoom in, we get a little bit of issues, because the data obviously coming from this remote camera can't keep up for the time being, so we get some freeze frames and so on. So I'm just staying back here and we're just watching this whole flock in detail. Now, these are Guinea Fowl. So they are endemic to Africa, south of the Sahara. And that's against the common belief that they could potentially come from America as well or other areas. But they've been taken there for breeding purposes. They're very similar to chickens. That's why I often call them the bush chickens. Because you can put their eggs with chickens and they raise and have very similar habits to chickens. You can keep them in an aviary or so and breed them pretty easily. When they are in those captive bred situations, you often have albinos coming through, and that's mainly due to inbreeding.
My name is Michelle Duplessi, and I'm the Managing Director of the Field Guides Association of Southern Africa. I'm one of the judges this year, and I'll be judging the game drive category, as well as hospitality, professionalism, and storytelling. I really look forward to seeing everybody again this year, and obviously to meet the incredible contestants.
Your trekking is very good. What is the starting trekking? Just track the leopard. You walk a little bit, you stop. You starting checking. Keep your hands, your neck up. Okay, your eyes. Listen for the birds. You follow the leopard. The leopard should see you first. You lose. Talk next year.
And that last call that I gave, the tarantal, as I say, more so used with their alarm calling. They are quite deceptive, though. Sometimes you think the Guinea Fowl are alarm calling, and you race over there, you think maybe there's a leopard or something, and they're sort of just communicating between each other. But when you see them or hear them doing that tarantal, making a heavy racket, and they're all sitting up high or on branches looking down from a tree, that's obviously a very good indication that there's a leopard or a predator nearby. So here comes a couple of warthog to join the fray, and it's a wonderful mixture of warthogs and Guinea Fowl here. And obviously they would use each other's, the warthog like to be around Guinea Fowl because they also assist in eyes and ears, and they're very alert. So they would give away a predator if anything came nearby. And it seems a lovely birding morning. It normally is nice and fresh in the morning. Once again, I'm going to send you all the way down to my home province in South Africa, and let's find out what Lauren's up to.
Very exciting for you here, everyone. This was a new bird species for me until last week, and I'm hoping that it's new for some of you guys as well, and you can add it to that list that I keep on telling you to write. We do have a long distance visual, but that's okay, of a Denham's bustard. Fabulous. Not the Kari bustard. We used to see quite a bit in the Mara and Swallow. And of course not the black-bellied either that we do see in Djuma. This is a Denham's. Now, unfortunately, it's not the views we were hoping for, but really, I don't mind. I've finally managed to get one live, and I told you all yesterday that we'll start doing new birds when we come across them that you don't sort of see in the Lofveld. And these guys are actually listed as vulnerable. I'm afraid lots of species are now making that good old IUCN red list. And it's definitely bigger than the black-bellied bustard that we see in Djuma, quite a lot. Also bigger than the red-crested korhaan, another one we see in Djuma. Much larger bird, and it's quite easy, well, maybe not easy, but you can pick out that gorgeous sort of pattern on the wings. It's quite striking, that black and white coloration, and that's what makes it easy to identify. You could possibly get it confused with a Ludwig's bustard. And we actually saw Ludwig's and Denham's together last week as well. Not here, but that is quite an unusual sight to see them together feeding. Isn't it beautiful, walking across the grassy plains? So I hope you all added that to your list, whether it's electronic, paper, however you keep that list. You have now seen a Denham's Bustard.
The Safari Guide of the Year 2022 is approaching us rapidly. This year, we'll be heading to bushwise field guides at the Southern African Wildlife College from the 27th June till the 2nd of July. We will soon meet all our contestants who are vying for the prize of being the very best of the best, and the judges who will put them through their paces. Join me, Steve Falconbridge, as we dream it, guide it, win it.
If you would like to be a part of the team that shares the Wildebeest Migration in Kenya live on WildEarth, then we have some great news for you. There are a few places left to join our expeditions in August and September this year. You'll be staying in an exclusive tented camp with ensuite bedrooms nestled in the riverine woodlands of the Talek River. Head over to our website to book your bucket list experience today. WildEarth Expeditions. Travel with purpose.
I'm very old. There's the Egyptian geese. Always. Always. And you're going to scare away our bustard, most likely. So yes, we have a new bird. I have a heater on the car. It's looking like it's going to be a really jolly good day. And you need to help me come up with a name for this vehicle. We're going to make this vehicle at Amakala Game Reserve famous. Wendy's famous, Rusty's famous, and I guess Jigga had its day. But I think we should start getting some name suggestions for this vehicle. Send them in, guys. Hashtag WildEarth. It's not a bad vehicle, and it has a heater. Oh, Egyptian geese, you gotta love them. Okay, talking of birds, we are going to send you over to Ralph, who I believe is also doing some birding.
Thanks, Lauren. And I've just switched over to the other side of the waterhole, and we've got a whole load of impala that have come down for a drink now. Lovely with their reflection on the water too. Still showing that there's not much wind around for the time being. And quite a lot of movement of birds too. The doves coming in for their early morning drink, and a lot of the quailias you will see taking off on their way out to go and forage for the day. It's a lovely Botswana morning next to the pan here in Mashatu. As I say, just a little bit difficult to zoom in. Earth Lover, I agree with you 100%. It does seem like something out of a fairy tale, especially with those reflections on the water. So there is a little bit of a breeze starting now, as was predicted. Hearing all sorts of birds. And there's one bird that I want to speak about. I've been hearing him call, and when I get it on camera, I'll definitely show you guys, or at least get the call for you. But here's another question for you. I know Chris was doing a bit of a quiz with you. It's a bit of a trick question because it used to be, many years ago, the national bird of Namibia. It has now changed to the ostrich, which is obviously more indicative or more representative of Namibia, being a desert country. So Namibia currently has the national bird as the ostrich, but prior to that, there was a much smaller bird, but much more beautiful, if I can say that. Shame, I don't want to say that ostriches aren't good looking, especially the males, when they come into breeding plumage. But yeah, this little bird, a lot more pretty, I would say, than the ostrich. And if you guys can send in your guesses, let us know what you say was the previous national bird of Namibia. They actually changed it because of the reason with the ostrich being more indicative or more representative, but the previous bird was as such because it was so pretty, so they chose that one initially. Maya, you saying an African fish eagle? Good guess, but incorrect. No, it's not the African fish eagle. We do know that here in Botswana, obviously where we are right now on this Mashatu Pan, the national bird is the lilac-breasted roller, or the tropant, as we call it in Afrikaans. So the lilac-breasted roller being that of Botswana, Namibia, that is now the ostrich, but previously was a secret bird or mysterious bird. Let us know. It's got a very particular call as well. And if I hear it, I'll point it out. Right now, we're just hearing the Guinea Fowl. I'm going to pan back again and see if we can spot those Guinea Fowl as the Impala have now moved off. Here we go. There we are. I'm just, sorry for going so quickly. It's on a bit of an automatic pan across, and there's all the Guinea Fowl back where we were watching them. So let us know. I'll give you a little bit of time to do some homework or have a look and see if you can find out what was the previous national bird of Namibia. National bird of South Africa, obviously, is the blue crane. We even had of it, I think it's on our 10-cent coin. It used to be on our 2 cents.
Please join me this coming Sunday evening after the Sunset Safari, that's the 26th of June, where I'm going to be doing a town hall to tell you all about the latest locations that are being added on to WildEarth, as well as answer your questions. Just go to wildearth.tv, make sure you're registered, and have your questions ready.
There's a lot of, the boo-boo calls are very particular, and I love all of those calls, like the tropical boo-boo that we hear very often in the northern parts of the Kruger National Park, around the Limpopo or the Luvuvu riverine edges. And in the area where Lauren is, she'll be hearing the southern boo-boo a lot in that area where she is in the Eastern Cape. Right, I'm going to continue birding and scanning around this waterhole, but I'm going to send you all the way back down south into South Africa, and I believe Chris may have found you something.
So, Jan and myself have just left our sighting of those elephants a little bit further into the block and bumped into yet another breeding herd. Small breeding herd here on Drakensberg, in the kind of southeastern corner of Chitwa's property. Juma's property. The herd also looking like it's getting fairly steadily mobile. A separate group to the one we've just seen, but it could arguably be extended family. Again, these elephants communicate over vast distances with one another, using ultrasound, a frequency many octaves lower than we can actually register with our human ears. Us mere mortals don't pick up on much of what's going on as far as elephant communication goes. A secret language which has been studied in Africa for something like 60 years. Still, there is much about it we don't know. Perhaps one of the best kept secrets of the natural world. Yeah, and while science is great and it's nice to learn things, in some ways it's also nice that there are some things we may never know. Yeah, we are filming straight into the sun, so it's a little bit difficult to view these ellies. But as they move a bit further past, it will probably get a bit easier. We won't overstay our welcome. As we pulled around the corner, the lead cow in this group, one of the bigger ones, presented us with slightly alert body posture, lifting her head very high, lifting her tail. A sign that an elephant is not extremely comfortable with your presence. And again, the level of tolerance varies extremely between individuals, much like it would with people. Certain people are very social, certain people just want to be left alone. And we have to respect that. Yeah, ignore those little cues at your peril. Athena, I would think so. I guess most living things can overeat. While I've never actually been to a zoo in my entire life, I've certainly seen some photographs and some footage of elephants that look a little bit overweight. I think the issue in captivity with a lot of animals is also lack of exercise. An elephant in nature might be walking 15 or 20 miles each day to collect enough food and get to water, and an elephant in captivity just doesn't have that opportunity. Yeah, you see it with lots of captive animals, very rotund, very fat, lions, leopards, tigers as well. It's a lack of activity. Hello, lady. Very obligingly coming up to feed much closer to Wendy here. Hello, big girl.
My name is Juan Pinto. I'm here for Safari Guide of the Year. I'm one of the judges. One of the categories in the competition is the walk, or the on-foot experience as you call it, and it's kind of the leveler. It's the experience that really is important for a guide to have, to be able to take people safely into the environment on a walk.
Here at WildEarth, we promised great monthly prizes for our explorers, and this month is no exception. If you join our club before the 10th of July, then you stand a chance to win a fabulous Safari Guide online course brought to you by Bushwise Field Guides. They specialize in accredited Safari Guide training with courses tailored for the African safari lodge industry. Sign up to be a WildEarth explorer today and don't miss out on this life-changing opportunity.
I'm glad to hear that the sound of these ellies feeding is coming through quite nicely. It's very rhythmic. I find even their movement quite soothing, the way they walk. I've always said once you get over sort of how big and impressive they are, there's something very relaxing about sitting watching them. There's a tremendous power to whiling away daytime hours with elephants. Now, it has been said a wild elephant commands the same silence usually reserved for mountain peaks, great fires, and the sea. And I think that's really appropriate. Something about them just puts us in utter awe. Once again, just a little reminder with regards to a bit of a change here at WildEarth TV. In terms of how we are accepting questions from all of you at home, our very valued viewers. So we're trying to synergize things a bit, trying to get all of our questions loaded onto the same platform. So we are moving away from accepting questions off of Twitter, YouTube, via email. We are asking you guys, if you don't mind, to please head to the WildEarth website. You can go to the link, wildearth.tv/questions. We will also be putting a QR code up on your screens multiple times. If you do have a smartphone, please open the camera app, line it up nicely, and a link should pop up on your screen. We value your questions, comments, stories, etc. So please keep them coming. Yeah, the human factor is an important element to this experience. Alrighty, well, our Ellies have moved off. We're not going to poke the bear. Let's let them carry on, and we will do the same, I think. Continue with our bumble. Yeah, also a reminder to all of you at home that today, which is a Sunday, we are having a town hall meeting with Graham Wallington. He is going to be filling everybody in this evening with regards to all the happenings at WildEarth TV, all sorts of plans, some of these new feeds. I'm sure there'll be some exciting news in there somewhere. So please join us on the WildEarth website. 7 p.m. Central Africa time for that town hall with Graham. Yeah, let's find out what's news with WildEarth, where we're going. Exciting times, to be sure.
Hi, I am David. I come to you live from the Mana Triangle, all the way from Kenya.
This is not a postcard. This is real. Sunrise in the beautiful Masai Mara.
I've been fortunate to be working in the guiding industry for about 26 years now. I've also been fortunate enough to do 9 years of the 10 years as one of the judges, and the particular components that I do is the walking and the shooting exercises. If you're the winner, if you're going to be the winner, it's important to become an ambassador for the field guide industry and competitors in the future.
So while we start to make our way down to the Twin Dams area and potentially check on the new Duma Clan den site, let's head back over to Chris in Pridelands, who is having a lovely morning on a bushwalk, I believe.
Me and my big mouth. Just this morning I said, no, it's relatively mild. It's going to be a nice warm day. Now we've got this ice cold wind suddenly. It's sunshine, but it's an ice cold wind that just suddenly started blowing here. Whew, and it's freezing. it's so weird. Anyway, we just south of WildEarth now, and I'm walking this road basically to try and see if there's no tracks of that lioness. Unfortunately, there's only hyena tracks. You can see there. But one thing I wanted to show is that we've got the sun to our backs, and now you can actually see how the sun casts a shade on these tracks. Now follow me as I go. And you can see as I go further and further away, you can actually see the trail. So I'm hoping that we can do the same with the lion track. If not now, perhaps this afternoon. So while we do that, let's go back to Ralph at Moshatu, who's got a visitor.
Thanks, Chris. Yeah, and well, it seems like the giraffe are more ready to come down for a drink today. Yesterday was a lot more windy, and they were a lot more nervous. So, but now, well, giraffe, it's not whether they're nervous or not. They were always nervous. It's just different levels of nervousness. So it seems like this morning they're a little bit more relaxed. However, still jittery, as always. But there we've got one drinking and another one seemingly making its approach at the back. Just behind. And just behind this giraffe that's drinking, you can also see the elephant tracks that have moved past it. There's a lot of movement of elephants here. I'm hoping today we might get to see them. They also could be a little bit jittery when it was windy like yesterday. I mean, that wind was howling, and everything becomes a little bit nervous in those kind of circumstances. So this giraffe taking the half-split, haunched approach when drinking. I always find it fascinating which approach they're going to take. Some of them take the full splits. Some of them do a full haunch, where they sort of bend their ankles in the front and then go down. And some of them do half-half. So this one seems to be in the middle. Looks like a young male. Could be wrong. We just get sort of, as I say, I can't zoom in too much, but that's what I'm thinking. Young male there. Violet, are you saying you might be a giraffe yourself because you're also nervous? Well, maybe you should stick off the coffee. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, some people, well, and giraffe generally have that kind of nervous nature. Sometimes it's good to keep your wits about you. And nervous isn't always a bad thing. I mean, giraffe have good reason to be nervous. They are quite dainty in their legs and quite vulnerable, especially when they come down to drink. But they can be quite aggressive. If you've ever seen the males fighting with each other, I've seen a giraffe fight where one was actually knocked out cold, and it took about a minute for it to wake up, and then quite a struggle to stand up after that. But with them necking and swinging their heads like clubs, and you can actually hear it from a rather large distance when they are swinging and smacking each other like that. So they're not always dainty and nervous. They can smack each other around a bit. But as I say, they've obviously evolved this nervous nature, and that's the way that they have been able to survive so long. And that long neck enabling them to be able to feed on the tops of bushes and up in the upper reaches of the trees, and so evolved away from the other antelope where they would, they've outcompeted them. Nobody else really feeds in the same area as them. The elephants obviously can, but giraffe is sort of feeding mainly on the Vicilia or the acacia, smaller leaf, very nutritious type foliage. And with those big ears, they can obviously pick up a lot of noise from a high height, should I say, from a large height. And we also often use them as an indicator of where predators are as well, because they obviously have a very nice height advantage to be able to see for predators. And if you see 5 or 6 giraffe all staring in one direction with those ears concentrated in the same direction as well, you can pretty much ride on over there and find yourself a predator. Now, speaking of riding on over there, let's ride you on down south and back down to Lauren.
I don't think I'll ever be able to drive past these guys. My new spirit animal. They're fantastic. The landscape is fantastic. Everything is fantastic here. I don't think I'll be able to say that enough. The blondies, the Debbie Harrys of the bush. I'm going to let you enjoy this scenery just for a moment or two before I list off some of the incredible names that you guys have sent in for the car.
And coming up in first place and officially named Mbilo is Heart's Cub.
Lucy. I like it. My niece is called Lucy, but she spells it with an I-E and not a Y, but I love it. And I think I'm going to go for a feminine name for this car. Craig, you have suggested Scotty. After my homeland. I also like that. That could be for male and female. Laura Cam, you have suggested Scorro. Ooh, that's quite an interesting name. Are you liking them, Davy? And Leopard Lover, you have went to the next level as always, and you have said Mags, named after Margaret Wilcox, the inventor of the car heating in 1893. Oh no, okay, I love them all. Love Mags because, well, car heating. I mean, I am toasty up here, but I also love Lucy. What do you think, Davy?
We'll have to consider them.
Yes, Davy says we need to think about this. So we do. But thank you for all the suggestions. Can't drive a car that doesn't have a name. Okay. We're going to think about this, and before the end of drive, we are going to let you know what we decide. Ooh. Our mission control are suggesting that we do a Twitter poll. I like it. Yes, we shall. We're going to go for between Lucy and Mags, I think. Yes. And let's see, you guys can then choose. It's now in your hands.
A little bit cold there, did you?
We have got another vehicle that has pulled up beside us. But this is why we've stopped here, not just to look at the gorgeous landscape, but also to scan for cheetah. They are here, and we are going to find them one day. But we keep just getting, well, very distracted with the beauty of the landscape. So as we continue to scan, we are going to send you to Liam at my favorite place in the world.
So, Johan and myself have made a turn through the new den site, new old den site, here off of Twin Dams Road. And success this morning. Brilliant. So we have one large member of the clan with two very puffed up youngsters having their breakfast, filling their bellies with Mom's calcium, magnesium and phosphorus rich milk. Probably some of the richest milk produced by any mammal. You can imagine with the adults often choosing to dine on the bones left by other predators and from their own carcasses. It's no stretch of the imagination that that milk would have calcium times 10. The babies grow unbelievably quickly. These two are no exception. Cubs are quite large, though. I've always loved these sort of yoga moves they've got to do to get access to the nipple. So they are lying face to face, but one of them literally having to stick its head between Mom's two hind legs. And they may be like this for ages, an hour, if not more. Suckling away quite happily. Yeah, it's actually nice to have the clan in a new den site. Cool to have the scene change. I doubt that the audio came through over the microphone there, but we have hyenas fighting far away to the northwest. So I'm being asked to encourage you to vote for the name of Lauren's car by using the QR code on the screen. I think, yeah, so that should be popping up soon. I think there's a bit of a poll going with two choices there, so feel free to share your opinion if you have one on the name for Lauren's car. What a sleepy little scene in this hyena den. Thankfully now the sun getting quite high in the sky. The temperature has raised significantly from when we took off to start our drive this morning. And we are gradually starting to peel the layers back and defrost. I think these hyenas are starting to find the temperature a bit more comfortable as well. Edwards. Riblets. I don't think I've ever heard ribbons cubs referred to as the riblets. That's It's an interesting nickname. I like it. So the names of those cubs, Matimba and Spirit. Ribbon very characteristically with that slightly raggedy left ear. Yeah, the result of a tough life as a hyena. Often involved in squabbles over carcasses, over territory. Yeah, they are dominant predators. Yeah, I've been privileged in the last decade or so to spend some incredible time with various hyena clans across the Sabi Sands. Very well established clans down in the south, in the western sector, as well as obviously probably one of the most famous, well-known clans in the world, the Stuma clan.
The Safari Guide of the Year 2022 is approaching us rapidly. This year, we'll be heading to Bushwise Field Guides at the Southern African Wildlife College from the 27th June till the 2nd of July. We will soon meet all our contestants who are vying for the prize of being the very best of the best, and the judges who will put them through their paces. Join me, Steve Falconbridge, as we dream it, guide it, win it.
If you would like to be a part of the team that shares the Wildebeest Migration in Kenya live on WildEarth, then we have some great news for you. There are a few places left to join our expeditions in August and September this year. You'll be staying in an exclusive tented camp with ensuite bedrooms nestled in the riverine woodlands of the Talek River. Head over to our website to book your bucket list experience today. WildEarth Expeditions. Travel with purpose.
So I'm hearing the alarm calls of some impala. Craig, not at all. Loads and loads of animals will scent mark. Hyenas do. They have a special gland close to their bottom which produces a foul-smelling paste. And the behavior is called anal pasting. It's a gland under their tail. And yeah, they'll sort of wipe it on blades of grass and small shrubs. So hyenas do. Scent plays a huge role in the establishment of territory with things like rhino. Obviously, all the big cats do it. Many antelope use scent to demarcate territories. It's a very, very broad thing. Yeah, so while we've been sat here, I'm hearing an impala alarm calling at a fair distance, a bit further southeast of where we are sat, maybe over Juma's boundary to the south, but I think it's going to be worth it to potentially leave these hyenas to their milky breakfast and get ourselves into that area now to have a bit of a look. Maybe a leopard is crossing in or out. Worth a go, I say. Yeah, just having a bit more of a listen there. It's gone quite quiet, but I'd like to still make our way through that area and see. You never know. Cheers, Lady Jane. Enjoy your sunbathing and your nap. Beautiful. Always nice to touch base with the Juma clan. So, speaking of missions, let's check in with Rex, who is on the hunt.
Welcome back from Liam around Hyena Den. We are just crossing now into Tita. spotted steenbok, very close to the termite. One of the smallest animal or antelope that we have in the area. A part of the dik-dik, we have these small animals. You find dik-dik, especially mountainous area. Steenbok is one of the species, of course, very territorial. They live in small areas, up to 200, 300 square meter of an area is where they can be so much active. Male and a female, they really love mating in that particular area. Once a female take over, this look like a youngster. There's a mother here, two couple. There's a baby and a mother. Female doesn't carry horns, where male do carry horns. It's really cute looking species, loved by wild dogs and leopard hunts them a lot in the area. And it's really be one of the species, of course, that hardly they don't really go quite often towards water hole, drinking water. They can be in a dry area, enjoying water from dew on top of the grass. If the grass is a little bit wet, more especially at the time of morning, you find that they're happy. They can stay in a dry area without water holes. They can do well in these areas. Steenbok. Steen means a rock.
Please join me this coming Sunday evening after the Sunset Safari. That's the 26th of June, where I'm going to be doing a town hall to tell you all about the latest locations that are being added on to WildEarth, as well as answer your questions. Just go to wildearth.tv, make sure you're registered, and have your questions ready.
Reading on the ground, lots of hyena activity that look like they are heading south along the same road. But I'm coming into the area here. I would like to follow up Langa or Shasha or Chava. They quite often like the area. The water source here is a lot more productive. Many leopards come down here. Let's see if we might be lucky towards the dam itself. And we'll be taking this opportunity over to Ralph.
Thanks, Rexon. Well, I haven't moved as I've been doing for the last couple of days. I'm just sitting here. It's one of the most awesome things to do is just sit at a waterhole, and when you go to different game reserves, and just sit at the waterhole, spend time there, get your birding books out, get your binos, and just see what comes down. As I say, I've also had some amazing sightings next to waterholes. I've had lion kills, elephants with all sorts of interactions, black rhinos fighting, even to the death. But I'll talk about that a little bit more in detail when we get to Okukuyu a little bit later, when that one comes through. Now, I'm just going to do another little pan. Let's see if we can, and when I say pan, I'm not talking about the water, I'm talking about panning the camera. So, hold on, here we go. Let's see if it works. Matthew, you're asking if I've seen any topi. Matthew, there aren't any topi in Botswana. Well, we always say never, but that's more of a Masai Mara, East African antelope. So there would be red hartebeest here, but not topi. That should have to wait for the Masai Mara to come back. So no, the answer is no, I haven't seen any topi here in Botswana. But yes, I have seen them in the Masai Mara when I was up there a few years ago, when I was presenting from the hot air balloons and also from the game drive vehicles. So here we see some blue wildebeest coming down to drink. Let's maybe zoom in a little bit. I don't like to zoom in too much, as I say, just for now, while things are just getting worked out, because otherwise we start to get frozen screens. Let's just see if that works. Oops, no, let me zoom back out again. I went a little bit wrong there. Whoopsie. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that.
WildEarth have really inspired me to return to South Africa after having followed so many beautiful characters. This Ticket to Dream has given me a great opportunity to meet the WildEarth team, which I thank. They're all amazing. Well, I love all of the characters, but I do have a particular passion for leopards. It's a dream, and as I said before, I just keep on pinching myself. Am I really here?
The iconic Masai Mara in Kenya is a boundless wilderness bursting with life. Every year, more than 1 million animals stream onto the plains, and this year, WildEarth will be there for Africa's great Wildebeest Migration. This astonishing spectacle will feature in Safari Live twice a day, allowing you to travel instantaneously to this natural wonderland. Join us in August for some migration madness.
On them as well. So they do, as I say, they form up the sort of bush chickens. There's a lot of them, safety in numbers, but also with that evolutionary tactic of breeding a lot. So they are a prey species, so a lot of them would be fed on. Who very similar like the Impala. They also breed very successfully, but in saying that, they also are fed on a lot by different predators across the board. So we'll just carry on sitting here watching these Guinea Fowl go about their ways, but let's send you back to Lauren and Davy.
Well, eland are not the only one that have this camel-like appearance, that's for sure. Giraffes, of course, have them as well. Yes, you adorable little youngster. The giraffes here are remarkably relaxed. And there are lots of them. I don't think we've come across... Well, I don't think we've done a drive without seeing them, actually. Okay, this little one's disappearing, but we do have quite a fair few in the distance. Are you able to get these ones, Davy, or shall I roll forward?
Maybe just a wee bit. I've got them, actually.
You've got them. Very Mara-esque in that regards as well, just herds of giraffes. Not journeys and towers, no, herds. But although we see them everywhere, giraffe populations are in trouble. And the IUCN Red List that I always speak about, or used to speak about, is slightly inaccurate because it's not quite broken down to all the species that are now recognized. There are 4. The southern, the Maasai, the reticulated, and the northern. We're looking at the southern. There are now 4 classified species and I believe 9 subspecies. But the IUCN Red List just classifies giraffe as giraffe. So that's a little bit tricky, but they are still listed as vulnerable. In the last 15 years, the giraffe populations have declined by 40%. But when you do look at the Red List, because they do classify all the giraffes as one species, which is not accurate, it's listed as least concern. But lots of studies have been done on giraffes recently, and there are definitely 4 different species. And this DNA study, which is quite complex, actually can prove that the 4 different species, the ones I mentioned, southern, Maasai, reticulated, and northern, have not interbred or crossbred, or exchanged genetic material, at least for millions of years. I guess that leaves a question as to what kept them apart. What has kept these 4 species apart for so long? That they developed into separate species and not subspecies that we were talking about yesterday.
Here on WildEarth, we love it when you interact with our guides while they are live. In order to do this, you must head over to wildearth.tv/questions and submit your questions, comments, and suggestions. Simple as that. And to make it even simpler, from time to time, you will see a QR code on your screen. Open your camera phone and scan this code, and it will take you straight to where you need to be. We look forward to answering your questions on this channel. The Masai Mara in Kenya, a remote landscape where wilderness reigns. Its inspirational beauty captivates the hearts of many around the world. This year, from August, WildEarth is leading a number of unique expeditions to follow Africa's greatest wildebeest migration here in the Masai Mara. And now, the remaining places have been discounted by 20%. Head over to our website to find out.
Not seen a giraffe suckling. Mila, you are saying, look at those stunning long model legs. I know. If only we could all have legs like that. And eyelashes like that. Although their body and their skeleton, their physique is sort of technically awkward, they're just incredibly graceful. We're complimenting you. They're really relaxed here. You can actually tell the 4 species apart from their patch pattern, if you like. Some people call it spot pattern, but I just can't do that. Patch pattern, I think, sounds a little bit better. They do have different patterns, all 4 of the species. And it's been proven now that offspring inherit a specific area, the pattern within that area, it's very close to the armpit, if you like. They inherit that from their mom. And it's the same. It's that same pattern. Will look identical in mother and calves. I often wonder if that's the case for our leopards too. If they inherit a specific pattern somewhere that runs through all the lineages. It's really warming up now. I don't think I need my magic heater anymore. Are you warming up, Dove?
Getting there.
It's getting there. We have a slight issue. We have electric blankets in our tent. And I've not used an electric blanket since I was a kid. And they are utterly delicious. But that leaves a problem. When your alarm goes off, how? How do you leave that electric blanket? Oof, it's tricky. I'm going to need to find a solution to that. I'm just looking everywhere, even all along our horizon right now. Giraffes, I just see these heads pop up. We're in a different part of the reserve that I've not been today, so we really have been exploring. No luck with the cheetah, I'm afraid. But I am going to go over to my hero, very own Miss Ribbon.
Balanites. So, a brief search for the source of those alarm calls that we had while we were in the Djuma Clan den site revealed the tracks of an enormous male leopard. Or perhaps not enormous, but definitely significantly bigger than a female. I reckon in this area probably the tortoise pan male, but unfortunately crossing out of our traversing area into Little Gowrie. That's all good. That seems to be his regular route. So hopefully we will catch him when he's inbound to the property. Yeah, our bumble this morning continues. We're just soaking up a bit of warm sun, looking for any signs of anything interesting.
We want to make it even easier for you to interact with our guides whilst watching WildEarth. When you see a QR code like this pop up on your screen, then open your phone camera, point it at the code, and you will be taken directly to our question page. Simple as that. Then you can let us know what you want to see, ask questions, and much more.
I've had it before where I've been walking and a waterbuck's jumped out of the grass. It's quite a frightening experience.
WildEarth, it's in your nature.
So, appropriately named, this patch of golden grass is known as Impala Clearings, and apparently the impala got the memo. There's about 100 of them here this morning. Yeah, many of our antelope choose to sleep out in the open, which may seem a bit counterintuitive, but I think being out in the open and being in a very large group, it would be a lot easier, a lot more difficult for a predator to actually ambush them. It's got a far greater chance of being spotted as it tries to pounce on one of the individuals on the outskirts. Tons and tons of female impala, many of which will be heavily, or at least steadily pregnant. So as we continue to soak up these stunning morning scenes here in the west of Djuma, let's pop over to Pridelands to check in with Chris.
We're not really doing tree ID, but we had to stop at this because it's quite unique. It's not a unique tree in the sense of it's a common tree. The common or pioneer spike thorn, you can see there the little spines, spikes, and this club-like shaped leaf. But it's flowering now in the middle of winter, and that's something you'll find with both the common and the red spike thorn. Now the two trees look very much alike. Now the spike thorn, the red spike thorn's bark are not as heavily fissured, coarse, sort of ridged almost in a way, you can see there. So it will look more something like that, even the adult tree. And the thorns also have this sort of, especially the young thorns or spines, have this reddish base. And that's usually a smaller shrub, like multi-stemmed little shrub, rather than a tree, whereas the common spike thorn, more of a single-stemmed tree mostly. One of the ways you can identify the two, if you only can get to the flowers, the common spike thorns got a slightly off odor to it, sort of like a bit of an offensive, rather sort of smelly feety type of odor, whereas the red spike thorns got this lovely sweet flower-like odor to it. And that's basically because they attract somewhat different pollinators. These guys more flies, odor flies, whereas the sweet one probably more pollinators, things like bees in the case of the red spike thorn. Just thought, nice little winter surprise. And it's common for these two. They normally start flowering in this time of the year, throughout until around about August. And that's an incredible strategy. Why not flower in winter and avoid competition for pollinators with other trees or other plant species? Clever. Very, very clever. Both the species are actually used all over Africa to treat snake bites. So you can take the decoction of the bark, and that can be used for the treatment of snake bites. So I remind the viewers that we do have a new way of submitting your questions. So in order to do that, you need to register on the WildEarth website and head on to wildearth.tv/questions, and you'll be able to send us through your questions, comments, even if you would like to share a story with us. Otherwise, you can also scan the QR code on your screen, and this will lead you to our questions and comments page. Just open your camera, scan the barcode, QR code, and that will lead you to where you can submit your comments, questions, and even stories. Please share some stories with us. Right, so we're not walking at the moment. The wind has picked up again. We're still trying to find anything on those lions. So far, not been lucky, but then again, we always have these little things to look at.
The Safari Guide of the Year 2022 is approaching us rapidly. This year, we'll be heading to Bushwise Field Guides at the Southern African Wildlife College from the 27th June till the 2nd of July. We will soon meet all our contestants who are vying for the prize of being the very best of the best, and the judges who will put them through their paces. Join me, Steve Falconbridge, as we dream it, guide it, win it.
If you would like to be a part of the team that shares the Wildebeest Migration in Kenya live on WildEarth, then we have some great news for you. There are a few places left to join our expeditions in August and September this year. You'll be staying in an exclusive tented camp with ensuite bedrooms nestled in the riverine woodlands of the Talek River. Head over to our website to book your bucket list experience today. WildEarth Expeditions. Travel with purpose.
Or anything for that matter that we can find. There's nothing out here at the moment in terms of tracks. So we're going to be missioning to find something. Let's go back to Rexon, who's also on a mission.
welcome Chris, who is walking in Pride Land back here in Southern Zuma Safari Live. We are Gary Main. We are spotting something beautiful. Lots more camouflaging on the road here. Let's stop right here. Wow. Camel Padis. This is giraffe, of course. It looks like the migration of giraffe taking place in the area that now slowly coming back. It's more important, more especially change of the season. You find that many species around in the area, they are moving from one area to another. I haven't seen giraffe for the last couple of weeks in and out in the area, but look like they're now back in the surrounding. Lots of tracks that are really read from the ground, which is crossing from one route to another, which means mainly the giraffe that might be in the area. You know that there's no social structure of giraffe. At any time, giraffe they can be join and separate and move their own direction. Each and every giraffe take its own route for browsing around in the area. Let's get close with this giraffe. Look like it does have a little one. It might be in the age of Isabella. Liked the way the giraffe walking one side at a time, look like marching left and right. That's a beautiful species to walk, to witness. Of course, it balances the neck and not to really fall. Oh, look how they run in a slow motion. Beautiful. They have enemy around in the area. Lions hunt them, especially in a very wet season. You tend to find lions driving giraffe into very wet patches, drainage lines, mainly in the area, because it's difficult to cross drainage in the rain season. The giraffe can slippery and fall down. Once they're down, it's for good. They cannot able to get up easily. Is how a giraffe or lion can hunt giraffe and suffocate them so easy. Let's try. Get close. They're crossing away from our area, I believe. Slowly by shore, they're all running away, maybe just because the game drive vehicle is rushing to a sighting somewhere. It could be something interesting where they're going. If not wild dogs, you never know. Yeah, I want to know what is the Shangaan name of a giraffe called Nuklwa. Nuklwa. It's N-H-U-N-T-L-Y. I mean W-A. Nuklwa. Nuklwa. It means actually the name is derived from the running or walking of the giraffe. The way they gallop is called Nuklwa. It's like jumping, like Kalamba almost. Shangaan, it's really, we have different dialects within the different region of Shangaan. I mean, you call somewhere else, they'll tell you about another name, but the actual name in the area, predominantly where we are, this is called the Nuklwa. Beautiful, they're all females, healthy looking, look like really they're going away south. One thing of giraffe, they're always opposite the wind when they move because they rely on the information that they read from the wind itself. We'll take this opportunity and head more towards the west. Look like the giraffe are disappearing in the thicket here. We weren't able to find them again or see them. Maybe we might be lucky with something towards the west. I believe maybe it might be something. Let's take this opportunity over to Ralph in Mashatu.
Well, thank you. Yes, Rexon, I do have a couple of giraffe, but right in between these two giraffes that are drinking now here at Mashatu, there is a very special bird and one of my favorite birds. I don't know if you guys can see it in the middle there. Unfortunately, I can't zoom in because then we get freeze frames. For now, we're working on these issues, but nevertheless, we can still see it. And this giraffe on the right there is actually nervous of it because it's a rather large bird. And I've actually seen that bird next to the Okokuyu waterhole with springbok next to it. And it's almost as tall as some of the springbok. So it's a very big bird. And I know down south in the Eastern Cape in Amakhala, Lauren, I believe, showed you a Denham's bustard. Well, this is a close relative. It is the Kori bustard. And in fact, the largest or heaviest of all the flying birds. I'm not sure if that's in the world, but definitely in Africa. So the heaviest flying bird. Obviously, an ostrich is the largest bird by far, but has lost the ability to fly. Now, the Kori bustard is a very heavy bird, and I know there's a lot of other large birds, but this one is quite heavy in the middle.
Please join me this coming Sunday evening after the Sunset Safari, that's the 26th of June, where I'm going to be doing a town hall to tell you all about the latest locations that are being added on to WildEarth, as well as answer your questions. Just go to wildearth.tv, make sure you're registered, and have your questions ready.
And then they need to lift their heads up, enabling it to literally roll down the back of the throat. Whereas doves and the Kori bustard don't need to do that. So if he comes down for a drink here, and I'm hoping that we get to see him do that, he'll put his head down and he'll suck and gulp and suck and gulp without having to lift his head up again. So something very special about Kori bustards, but also with doves. So the only reason they'll lift their head up again is obviously to scan the area for predators, or lift their head up to see if there's any danger around, but they don't need to lift it up to throw the water down. And there we go, he's moving in next to this springbok. Fortunately, as I say, I can't zoom in, so let's just keep an eye. And the giraffe moving off to his left, that impala there just in front of him. So, I'm going to carry on birding here in Mashatu. It's been a wonderful morning of birding, seems like all round with all the different guides. But I hear that Lauren is carrying on the same.
Fast becoming one of my favorites, I must say. We've got the pale chanting goshawk here. Two of them, actually. I wonder if it's a male and female pair. They are monogamous. Now, we saw one yesterday, but they're really common in this area. And you don't get this bird species in the Lowveld. And, sorry, I was just watching a wildebeest there running way faster than I realised they could run. And of course you can see the mountainous backdrop here, isn't it just glorious? Now, I'm not very loyal to my favourites. I need to work on that. Everything becomes my favourite. I fall in love with everything, but at this moment in time, the pale chanting goshawks are becoming my favourite. The fascinating thing is these birds are also said to be cooperatively polyandrous. So they are monogamous, but what this means is that the female can actually simultaneously have monogamous, I use that word very loosely, pair bonds with several males. So she's loyal to them all. They are all her partner. But I guess that's not really monogamy, is it? But birds do get very complicated when it comes to monogamy. The statistic was once 90% of birds are monogamous, and that's since been proven not quite the case. They do have pair bonds, but they maybe have pair bonds with many males. And all adult birds in a group, if they are found in groups, it's not quite the case across the board, then they all contribute equally to raising a clutch of eggs. And pale-chance and goshawks exhibit that. But sometimes it is just one monogamous pair bond, one male, one female. They're just absolutely stunning birds. I'm sure some of you have seen them before, but if you haven't, then tick that one off your list. Very similar to the dark chanting goshawk. They do have differences, but from afar, from this distance, it's very difficult to tell.
Here at WildEarth, we promised great monthly prizes for our explorers, and this month is no exception. If you join our club before the 10th of July, then you stand a chance to win a fabulous Safari Guide online course brought to you by Bushwise Field Guides. They specialize in accredited Safari Guide training with courses tailored for the African safari lodge industry. Sign up to be a WildEarth explorer today and don't miss out on this life-changing opportunity.
Hi, I am David. I come to you live from the Mana Triangle, all the way from Kenya.
This is not a postcard. This is real. Sunrise in the beautiful Masai Mara.
Completely different array of species. These guys will snack on rodents. You get a lovely striped mouse here. It's very cute. Probably next to impossible to get on camera, but that's okay. They'll snack on hares, other birds, reptiles, invertebrates, even carrion, and that's what we saw them do yesterday. Elijah, you're saying you're loving the colors. I don't know if you're referring to the landscape or the birds, but both are equally stunning. Now we do have a winner for the vehicle. The official naming of this gorgeous vehicle that has a heater. It will never be Wendy, but that's okay. Wendy is Wendy. This is a new chapter. Meet Lucy. If you ever come to Amakala, you must request to drive on Lucy. I'm happy. My niece will also be happy. My brother had twins, Robbie and Lucy. Are you looking at the wildebeest dog? Yeah. They're just running like crazy. It's been distracting me the whole time. Oh, of course, now they stop running. That's typical. We do have some blessed buckies as well.
Oh.
Are they mating?
Looks like it.
Fighting. All right, get my binos out. Glasses off, binos on. I think everyone's just warming up. The sun is out, getting their vitamin D. Having a jolly good time. Mating, wow. I can't believe we just captured that. So that's been the male chasing the female the whole morning. We saw them running, but I wanted to show you the birds. I didn't realize we were going to get mating. How cool. I'll need to actually research what the young calves look like. We saw a youngster yesterday, but I'm talking newborns. I remember witnessing the newborn calves within a day on quarantine of the blue wildebeest. They were absolutely adorable. Oh, this morning just keeps on getting better and better. But as we bumble to see what else we can find, we're going to send you guys over to Ralph.
Thanks, Lauren. And I've just been able to zoom in a little bit here with this Corey Bustard that's holding the picture now. So what's quite interesting here now, watch him as he goes down to drink. Okay, he'll put his head down, and if you can see the detail, you'll actually see that he's swallowing rather than picking his head up. So, but he'll lift his head up to look around to scan. Obviously, he's vulnerable when he's drinking like this. And another thing interesting is that he's actually sitting now on the whole foot. So he's bent his ankle so that he can obviously get closer to the water and comfortably drink without having to sort of bend his whole head down towards the water. And that would then obviously have a much different angle to what he's getting now. Now he's got a much less of an angle, and then making that swallowing easier and easier for him to lift up his head as well if there's any danger nearby. So fascinating to watch a Corey Bustard drinking, very different to that of normal birds.
We protect and reconnect nature across southern Africa. We bring countries together to care for wild spaces that stretch beyond borders. We protect and restore biodiversity. We prioritize the people living in these landscapes, enabling them to thrive in harmony with nature. We are restoring tomorrow.
Well, my name is Mark Carantonis, and I'm the co-owner of a travel company called Africa Direct, and I'm from White River in Mpumalanga, and I'm the founder of Safari Guide of the Year. It takes a lot of courage, you know, to put your hand up and say I'm in, to put yourself forward and say I'm here to learn. It's not possible without them.
Oh, and here comes an impala just having a drink just in front of our Corey Bustard. Fascinating. See, even some of the most simplest looking things can be quite special. Just animals drinking. So with this simple impala drinking and a Corey Bustard drinking, well, for me it's very special, and Lauren's also got something very special.
And it does indeed get better. Not one, but two jackalas. Blackbacks. Aren't they just gorgeous? Also warming up. Jackals can be sometimes relaxed and sometimes not so relaxed. We don't often see them in Djuma. We do see them quite commonly near Triple M, blackbacks at least. And I have also seen side stripes in Djuma as well. But once they're off, they're very nimble on their feet. And of course, part of the Canidae family, part of the dog family, if you like. Look like foxies. Got that same sort of face. Not too unlike the Ethiopian wolf that Davi and I spent time with. Oh. The Canidae family's not had it easy though. Only 34 remaining. Of course, we had the wild dogs earlier. This is another member of that group. I just love them. I love them. I think they're fantastic to look at. And also their personality. They're not scared to approach lions. We had a sighting with one stealing from an avoca. Bev, you're saying jackals. Thank you. You are welcome. That makes me think you're also a fan. Imagine we found a den. I think Taylor had a den, possibly in Namara once. I would love to see jackal pups. And you can hear them howling. You wake up in the morning and howl. Something like that. I think we're starting to lose them now. Jackals are always smaller than I think they are, if that makes sense. When I think of them in my head and then I see them, they're actually so much smaller. They're very petite little animals. They will probably know where the cheetahs are. We definitely don't, but that's okay. We're working on it. I haven't given up on my mission, though. We're still going to keep scanning for them. And I believe Rexon is on a mission of his own.
Welcome back from Lauren in the Eastern Cape. We are right here at Mandesa Road. We were trying to give a little bit of assistance when it comes to tracks that Liam have found western side of the hyena den itself and the lamb call. Definitely, it looked like there was a big male leopard recruiting Molowati just crossed into Little Gari from Little Gari Shibamu Tenov, or the science itself. Very fresh tracks. It was very good tracks. It looked like crossed like 10 minutes, 15 minutes ago, across to the other side. Maybe in the afternoon, who knows? Maybe it might come back in the same area. We won't tell. We are looking again in the same area. Maybe it could be any exciting animal around here. It could be genet, it could be anything. It could be serval or caracal.
My name is Michelle Duplessi and I'm the Managing Director of the Field Guides Association of Southern Africa. I'm one of the judges this year and I'll be judging the game drive category as well as hospitality, professionalism and storytelling. I really look forward to seeing everybody again this year and obviously to meet the incredible contestants.
Your trekking is very good. What is the starting trekking? Just track the leopard. You walk a little bit, you stop. You can start checking. Keep your hands, your neck up. Okay, your eyes. Listen for the birds. You follow the leopard. The leopard should see you first. You lose. Talk next year.
Yes, let's see if we will find something here. Time and again, we only see tracks of a lonely buffalo that's crossing the roads from Gary, Maine. We are now here at Belanati, Rebecca. Also can see fresh tracks of a buffalo that moving to the east, almost in the same direction of Three House. And we are going to end it on that area, checking if there's anything into that area. The mainline tracks that we yesterday found and able to track, and we were not lucky. There was it was S8 mile. Is down in Manyeleti, just west of Sydney's Dam. He was calling there and that surrounding. So he's look like now pushing a little bit more east here on the Conservancy of Juma. I believe not so long, maybe we might end to see the breakaway 3 or 4 female from Telamati with the cubs mainly into the area. It's a good news if a male lion moves or lions move back in the area where they normally used to be. But we hope that the cubs now they might be slightly big enough where the lions can move with them around. They might be over 3 months old now at the moment from the old female Telamatis. We had a report from Manyeleti guys, telling us there's a couple of more youngsters within the pride itself, 5 up to 7 at the moment. It's a good news. Look like the pride itself is going to grow bigger. We're in an area of south of the quarantine itself. This is Love. Trevor, I was really keen to find these lions, but they're out of the range. We cannot follow up from Manyeleti. But I believe they might start to move in the area, maybe this afternoon or within a day or two. They might be coming back in the area. It's one of the preference area of the leopards where I'm moving. Unfortunately, Kalambash is moving out.
The Safari Guide of the Year 2022 is approaching us rapidly. This year, we'll be heading to Bushwise Field Guides at the Southern African Wildlife College from the 27th June till the 2nd of July. We will soon meet all our contestants who are vying for the prize of being the very best of the best. And the judges who will put them through their paces. Join me, Steve Falconbridge, as we dream it, guide it, win it.
If you would like to be a part of the team that shares the Wildebeest Migration in Kenya live on WildEarth, then we have some great news for you. There are a few places left to join our expeditions in August and September this year. You'll be staying in an exclusive tented camp with ensuite bedrooms nestled in the riverine woodlands of the Talek River. Head over to our website to book your bucket list experience today. WildEarth Expeditions. Travel with purpose.
It's guaranteed that let's take this opportunity to Liam, which is really bumbling around the area. Maybe he might be lucky with something excited.
Yeah, fingers crossed there, Rex. Hope you can sniff out one of those spotted cats. Yeah, if anyone can do it, it is old Rex. So, yeah, the bumble continues for us as well. As I say, temperatures picking up. We're seeing nice activity out of the general game, quite a few birds around. I must say as well, what a privilege to have Ralph with us on that Botswana cam, looking at something like a Kori bustard. Though we do get those birds in the greater Kruger, and the likelihood of getting a sighting of a Kori bustard in a place like Juma is little to none. So a very, very, very cool thing. Yeah, I said it yesterday, diversity is the spice of life. Nice to have a little bit of everything, some different flavors coming to you from all over the place. Yeah, Ralph also chatted a little bit earlier about a crimson-breasted shrike, which I think he may have said, if I got the right end of the story. Grayson, not to my knowledge. So in the height of summer, we've got 300 plus bird species in the greater Kruger area. So an enormous variety. At the moment, that species list has probably dropped as low as 150, maybe 180. So a huge volume of species have moved out. They haven't necessarily all gone as far as the northern hemisphere, but many of them will go more towards equatorial Africa. Obviously very, very stable conditions around the tropics. Lots of food, good rainfall throughout the year. But as sure as the sun rises in the east and sets in the west, the wet season will return again, and it'll bring with it all of that life that we are so used to and so passionate about. But yeah, Ralph was chatting a little bit earlier about that crimson-breasted shrike, speaking of birds. I was lucky enough to see that bird for the first time on my first trip with guests through Tswalu. What a glorious species. I've still only seen the red-breasted variant. It comes in yellow as well. So I'm hopeful to come across that at some stage. A glorious species. A gem out in the desert.
Please join me this coming Sunday evening after the Sunset Safari, that's the 26th of June, where I'm going to be doing a town hall to tell you all about the latest locations that are being added on to WildEarth, as well as answer your questions. Just go to wildearth.tv, make sure you're registered, and have your questions ready.
Just coming down Gallagher's shortcut now, looping around the back of Juma Camp, searching for any signs of maybe some predator movement close to home. As we continue to bumble in the direction of some bacon and eggs for ourselves this morning, let's check back in with the team in the Eastern Cape, who are looking at a mixed bag of antelope, I believe.
They have moved off slightly, but it's a much better view than what we gave you yesterday of the springbokkies. Said to be medium-sized, but they are small little antelopes, and they're keeping nice and tightly packed together. I would imagine that they are definitely the favorites of the cheetah here. Unfortunately, it's only bum views, but nice bums. They were a lot closer, but they're just moving off. And I love how all the antelopes around here stick close together. The dilution effects. They're not friends, that's for sure. Now, just to remind you all, this is completely interactive. The Egyptian geese are also letting you know that. Oh, na harida. Harida. Everyone's very excited this morning, but this is interactive, and of course, as long as you've registered on the WildEarth website, and you pop onto wildearth.tv/questions, you'll be able to send through all your questions, your comments, jokes. I love a good joke. Your stories, anything. Otherwise, a new method, you can actually scan the QR code on your screen, and this will lead you over to our questions and comments page. We want to hear from you. Otherwise, it's just us talking gibberish. What a racket.
My name is Juan Pinto. I'm here for Safari Guide of the Year. I'm one of the judges. One of the categories in the competition is the walk, or the on-foot experience as you call it. And it's kind of the leveler. It's the experience that really is important for a guide to have, to be able to take people safely into the environment on a walk.
Here at WildEarth, we promised great monthly prizes for our explorers, and this month is no exception. If you join our club before the 10th of July, then you stand a chance to win a fabulous Safari Guide online course brought to you by Bushwise Field Guides. They specialize in accredited Safari Guide training with courses tailored for the African safari lodge industry. Sign up to be a WildEarth explorer today and don't miss out on this life-changing opportunity.
Depending on your species, your habitat, your environment, of course, your sort of reproductive strategy will match that. I mean, it's not common for mammals to have that lifelong pair bond, and yet jackals do. Golden Girl. Also love that name. You're asking, why are they called a springbucky? A very good question. It's the way they spring, literally, the way they move up into the air. I'm hoping we can show you that one day. But I believe the Afrikaans word for jump is spring. Is that right, Dov? Spring. Okay, well, there you go. So it stems from that, but it is both relating to the way that they jump, and it literally looks like they're just springing into the air. It's fantastic. It's fabulous. You should Google it if you've not seen it before. Yeah, this is so stunning. It takes a while for the world to wake up in winter. The birds to start calling, the antelope to start playing and running and jumping. Not too unlike us. We have been in the same area, Carnarvondale, for the past 3 drives. So I think this afternoon we're going to explore somewhere new territory and see what we can find on another part of the reserve. Okay, we're going to head a little bit closer to home. It's quite the journey, and we're going to send you guys over to Ralph on the Juma Cam.
Thanks, Lauren. And I'm not sure what the traverse that you have there on Amakhala or where you have signal, but if you can, you need to get over to the western side. There's lovely sandy areas. It's awesome for tracking and so on, and my favorite part of Amakhala. I used to train the trails rangers there, so I do know it quite intimately, but yeah, that's my favorite part. Anyway, back to where we are on Juma now. So I've switched over from the Mashatu dam cam over to the Juma dam cam, and we're just having a look-see. We did try and see if we could spot the parrots that have been hanging around in the tree. There's also been some squirrels popping about, so we're just doing a scan all over the place. It's getting very windy now as the sun's gotten up, as it can generally do, you know, as it warms up. So the hot air rises, and then you do definitely have a big movement of air, and the wind then can start. So we're just moving around. Sorry about that. That's just a bit of the communication stuff that is linked up there, but we often just look around right underneath the tree, and sometimes you have the squirrels hanging around right on these little poles and things, so we get a lovely close-up of them. So always just looking around.
Hi, I am David. I come to you live from the Mana Triangle, all the way from Kenya.
This is not a postcard. This is real. Sunrise in the beautiful Masai Mara.
I've been fortunate to be working in the guiding industry for about 26 years now. I've also been fortunate enough to do 9 years of the 10 years as one of the judges, and the particular components that I do is the walking and the shooting exercises. If you're the winner, if you're going to be the winner, it's important to become an ambassador for the field guide industry and competitors in the future.
And so since their arrival, Dewey has started to make a mate with the female, much to the displeasure of the two young males. But it seems like last night as well, they took themselves out on a little soiree, and out they went, all moving along together. So Dewey looks like he's got himself an instant family. Well, that's good to know. I remember watching Scuba Steve and thinking that he was quite lonely all there on his own. And then there was one female that used to visit every now and then, but otherwise he was pretty much all on his own. There we've got the hippos exactly coming up, doing their thing, bobbing up and down. Wow. So the wind really picking up, and well, I'm just listening to it from the comfort of my seat in the remote station. But I'm going to send you on over to Liam, who's actually out there.
So thanks for that, Ralph. Indeed, a slightly different perspective from where we are sat of our little hippo pod in Gowrie Dam. It's interesting, in the evenings my room is probably only 300 or 400 yards from the other side of the dam. So yeah, fairly close, just a stone's throw away. We've been hearing some very interesting hippo vocalizations from the dam at night. From what I remember during the drought within the last couple of years that the Sabi Sand experienced, of hippos forced to be together in very tight spaces, lots of conflict, lots of fighting. I've been hearing the sounds of hippos fighting down here. But then every time we come down here during the day, all four of these guys are very close together. They all seem very happy. So I wonder what the deal is there. Who knows? All sorts of interesting behavior goes on while we are elsewhere. Yeah, with our hippos keeping a bit of a low profile, maybe we will pull a bit further forward, see if we can see any monitor lizards or any terrapins sunning themselves on the log a little bit further up the dam wall. Noah, definitely nice to see a bit of activity around Djuma Camp Dam, or rather Gowrie Dam. Yeah, also nice that this bull, Dewey, I believe, has got some companionship. We have had so many sightings over the past couple of months of just him in here all on his ace, all alone. Yeah, I guess as he grows and develops into a bigger bull, he's becoming a more and more attractive contender. A breeding bull. But yeah, I think let's check on this log. Let's see if we can see any reptile residents. Temperatures are still low, but sun starting to burn quite nicely. Yeah, a couple of nice monitor lizards there, one large one on the bank. Soaking up the sun. Monkey Boo Boo, I'm not too sure about that, but could very well be. Yeah, so the Egyptian goose is named not necessarily because it is found in Egypt. It probably is, but I believe its name is derived from the markings around its eyes. So it has that almost teardrop type shape around the eye, I believe to have some similarities to the makeup of the pharaohs. But they are all over the show. I even saw Egyptian geese in Europe. I've seen them in London a number of times. So very soon we're going to be wrapping up the show for the morning. Nice to be ending it with some of my favorites, the reptiles. Yeah, we'd like to thank everybody that took the time to tune in and come on this adventure with us this morning for joining. And yeah, we really hope you will be on board for this afternoon's safari. We certainly will be in our various locations across Southern Africa. It promises to be another exciting chapter in the lives of all of our characters. Enjoy your day and see you soon.